It says self-awareness is when you are conscious about your thoughts, actions, and behaviors. That is well put together. That is well put together. Thank you so much, Oluwaseun, for sharing that. And I mean, all of us have spoken so well. Self-awareness, from what Emmanuel has said, is the understanding of yourself, why you do what you do. And like I said, because we are such in a time and in a dispensation where we attach meanings to titles, to money, people are treated by what they have, necessarily not what they have upstairs, but by the resources, that probably the financial resources they have, or the resources they are available to, that's available to them. With this is like a very important topic, because so many people are on the journey of becoming. Like, you are on the journey of becoming what God has destined for you to become. And in that journey, you might begin to really doubt who you are because of the values that people place around you. So you need to consciously be aware. And today we have somebody to do justice to that conversation. I would want you all to, to be here, to be attentive, get your writing materials ready to learn. The person we have with us today is Dr. Mofoluso Fagbeja. He is a space application, air pollution, climate change, and environmental management specialist. With approximately 25 years of experience in the public, private, and international development sectors. He possesses extensive knowledge in developing knowledge-based policies for environmental sustainability and social inclusion through innovative and collaborative research. Throughout his career, he has contributed to various sectors in the public sector. He achieved the position of Deputy Director at the National Space Research and Developmental Agency, working both at the headquarters and the United Nations African Regional Center for Space Science and Technology Education in English. It currently serves as the CEO of TPHD Technologies, a company focused on leveraging advanced technologies and techniques for statistical and geostatistical data collection, analysis, and development of innovative data-driven solutions for sustainable development in developing countries. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Fagbeja holds a bachelor's degree in meteorology from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and a master's degree in geographic information systems from the University of Ibadan. He earned his PhD from the University of the West of England, Bristol, UK, where his thesis won the award from Dr. Nuru Lexmono. Please join me as I welcome today. The dynamic is ever young, is ever young, very youthful at heart, and is our mentor for today. Thank you so much for agreeing to be here, Dr. Mofolusho. Thank you so much for being here. And over to you now, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much for having me. I could remember you asking me what's the secret of you being young, and I was like, just be playful. So I'm a very playful person, and I enjoy it. Right? It's something that keeps you young. So it keeps you young. It also helps you a lot in how you think and how you grow old, of course. How you think determines a whole lot of things about you. And that's what we're going to talk about today. That's what we're going to go into in a jiffy. So I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can, sir. I can hear you. Yes.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So let me try and share my screen. I developed some bit of presentation that I'm going to share with you. So do I have rights to share screen?
Definitely, please.
Okay, so let me Uh, no, sharing is turned off, so you can. Okay, I'm requesting.
Okay. Permissions granted, sir.
Okay, all right. Please let me know if you can see my screen.
We can see the screen now, sir.
Okay, and now it's presentation mode. I just changed slide. Did the slide change at your end?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, beautiful. So we have a working system. All right. So it's a huge pleasure to be here and to speak with the gentlemen and ladies that are participating in this mentorship program. I want to say thank you to Ifeoluwa for reaching out to me and giving me this opportunity to speak um, on this topic, and not just this topic. There are some other. I think I'll be doing this for the next 4 weeks, right? Um, so, I, if I thank so much for the opportunity, and I hope it's going to be worth a while, worth the while of. It's going to be worth my while. It's going to be worth the while of everybody that is listening to this presentation. So, um, the first in the series that we'll be talking about is building self-awareness. I I just logged in, and then I heard you guys talking about self-awareness. So I know it's a discussion that you guys have been having before I joined in, and then I know that a whole lot you've discussed a whole lot, and I'm sure that some of the things that I'm going to say will not be so strange to you, but might be to reiterate some of the things that you already know. And it's always important to have reassurance of what we already know, and also to learn new things that we've not known before. So I'm talking about building self-awareness and understanding who you are beyond your degree, right? Um, the content of what I'm going to be talking about, we'll have a look at what self-awareness is. Um, then we go from um, thoughts to actions. We'll be looking at how our thoughts shape our actions. Then we'll also look at some of the key factors that shape our thoughts, how we think. And then we'll be looking at what is our identity and how does that contrast with our roles. Then we go into understanding who we are beyond our degree. I have an activity here. Perhaps maybe it's going to be like a take-home activity just for you to um, um, understand yourself better and to be more self-aware. So I will, when we get there, we know how we're going to sort that out, and then we'll have question and answer session. If please, you can let me know probably by sending WhatsApp message to me how I'm doing by time, right? So I believe I have. We'll be doing this within an hour or less. Okay. Um, okay. Yeah. So, what is self-awareness, right? From from that, basically, what we're saying is you are aware of yourself, because self-awareness is being aware of oneself. And what exactly are you trying to be? Are you trying to gain awareness of, right? you're trying to gain awareness of your own thoughts. Your thoughts are extremely important. Your thoughts determine and define a whole lot of things. You want to understand your feelings. How do I feel? What do I feel like? I know a lot of people have the right feelings about themselves. People have wrong feelings about themselves. In recent times, in the developed world, and I think it's something that is also creeping into our own system gradually. As far as I'm concerned, it's a no-no. It's a bad one, really. While people say that, oh, I feel a male will say, I feel like I'm a female, right? That the way I feel in my body, I feel I'm a female. And then they do all this transgender stuff. So you need to understand your feelings, right? How you feel, what you feel, and also you need to understand your actions, the things that you do, especially the things that propel what you do. And being self-aware is not limited to you just knowing stuff about yourself alone, because you are not living in isolation. You are a social being. You live amongst people. You do things that impact people. Being self-aware involves recognizing and understanding how your thoughts, how your feelings, and how your actions impact on other people. So self-awareness is not just about yourself. It's also about how you impact on others. You have to be aware of your personality, your individuality. And I can tell you, if there are over 8 billion people on the surface of the earth, then you have over 8 billion individualities, peculiarities, something that nobody else has. You look at your fingers, you have your fingerprints. Nobody else has got your fingerprints. Even if you are a twin, you don't have the same fingerprints as your twin brother or your twin sister. Your eyes, your retina, they are completely different from the next person. Nobody has the same. Even though you are given birth to by your parents, right, you have that peculiarity. So it separates you, it places you in a position whereby anybody looks at you and say, this person is unique. And that's why for security reasons and for identification purposes, you do biometrics, right? So as a person, you are unique. And it's not just these physiological properties that makes you unique. Your personality is unique. Your individuality is unique, right? And being self-aware requires you understanding your own personality and your own individuality, and also how others perceive one. So if you go back to the first point that we talked about, we said recognizing and understanding your thoughts, feelings, and actions. It doesn't stop there in terms of being self-aware. It also includes how those impact on other people. This second point is also talking about your personality, your individuality, and how other people perceive you as a person. Your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, understand them. We've talked about them. And it is important for us to know that being self-aware is very essential for personal growth. Now, I said personal growth because we've been positive, but also it has implication for personal decline. If you do not invest in yourself and being aware of who you are, then there's a tendency that you're going to have personal decline. Right. So self-awareness puts you in a position where you know that you can grow from where you are. For you to be able to grow, you must have a baseline. So in environmental studies, areas where I specialize, right? And we're looking at data, you're collecting data, and you want to make you want to model, you want to do some bit of modeling for future understanding what the future is going to be like based on the current situation and the current data that you have. The first thing you want to do is to establish your baseline. Once you establish your baseline, right, from the baseline, you know whether you're going to grow and you know the direction in which you're going to grow. If you apply some certain, if you apply certain factors and metrics, you know whether you're going to grow or you're not going to grow. You know the direction in which you're going to grow. And all these things also apply to us, right? Being self-aware is the baseline that you have to establish for your personal growth, right? You have to know who you are. You have to know your strengths. You have to know your weaknesses. You have to know the things that make you you. And then if you're going to grow, you know what to do to enhance your growth from there. So this, in a nutshell, tells us what self-awareness is and the importance of self-awareness. It's essential for our personal growth. Now, we've talked about, okay, we understanding who we are, being aware of who we are in terms of our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions, and how this impact other people, right? Whoever you are, what primarily determines or tells you who you are your thoughts. So I'm a Christian. I'm a believer in Christ, and I know I might be speaking with diverse people with diverse religious background or inclination, right? But I'm telling you right now that I'm a believer in Christ, and I don't feel anything about it. I have the confidence to talk about that because I have grown my ability to be self-aware to an extent, and what people think about me, whether rightly or wrongly, really don't define who I am, right? But we'll get there. So I'm saying this because as a man thinks, in the way you think, what you think about yourself, the way you picture yourself, the pedestal on which you place yourself, the things that you think about yourself determines who you are. Primarily, everything starts from the thoughts. So our thoughts primarily tell us who we are. And I have it here, as a man thinks in his heart, so he is. Because your thoughts shape your perception of yourself, and your thoughts about yourself does a lot to your self-esteem. Whether you have a healthy self-esteem or you have very low self-esteem, Whether you look down on people, or you you work together with people amicably, and whatever, they are shaped by your thoughts. So the way you perceive yourself and your self-esteem, it's all about your thoughts. And when all this boils down to you being able to evaluate your own actions, your abilities, your capabilities, and your personal characteristics, that will make you see yourself like, oh, this is how I am. This is who I am. And in the process of doing that, you're probably looking at some other people and you're comparing yourself with them. Do I measure up? Am I up to this person's standard? Oftentimes, we look at material things, we look at monetary things to compare ourselves with, and we also look at our capabilities. We look at our colleagues in school. This person is brilliant. I'm not as brilliant as this person. How, when you do that kind of comparison, right? How do you approach that person? Do you approach the person looking down on yourself? Do you approach the person as if you are inadequate? Right. And these are the things that form the thoughts that shape your perception about yourself. And these things happen every now and then. These are things that we do, whether consciously or subconsciously. And all this information, when we now mentally organize them, right, about ourselves, right, about yourself as an individual, then you've created a perception of yourself. And that determines how you esteem yourself. But understanding your individuality and your uniqueness is essential at this point. That when you are evaluating yourself and you are comparing yourself with others, when you understand that there is nobody else like you, the things that you can do, the things that you are made of, that you are unique in your own self, then you have the right thoughts that will give you the right perception of yourself, and then you're able to esteem yourself as you should. So when you have all these thoughts and you've been able to create a perception of yourself, and you've been able to esteem yourself, you've given yourself a level of self-esteem, then you start behaving based on the perception that you have of yourself. So if you've over-elevated yourself, right, you start looking down on people. If you've under-elevated yourself, then you start feeling inadequate. If you have a healthy perception of yourself, right, you will have the right disposition to people. Remember, in the previous slide, we said self-awareness does not just revolve around you as a person. It also involves how your personality, how your actions impact on other people, right? And that is what we try to capture here. So you're going to behave one way or the other. You're going to do things. You're going to interact. You are going to react to things around you, and your thoughts define what you do, how you interact, how you behave, how you react, and the actions that you take, right? So your actions are basically as a result of the thoughts that you have on the inside of you. And this is why everyone need to have the right thoughts, especially about himself or herself, because this has a strong implication on how you perceive yourself and then how you behave in the larger society. Your self-awareness plays a key role in how you respond to others and their perception of you. I just talked about that, right? So where you place yourself as a result of your thoughts, which shape your self-awareness, then you respond based on who you are to situations and to people. So I'm going to I had an experience, so I think I'll just try to use one experience or the other as we go ahead in this discussion. So I had an experience some time ago. Over time, by virtue of my faith and my knowledge of who I am as a believer, and of course also including my experience. I got myself to a level that I know that I am not who I am. Let me try and get the right words now. I am not the car that I drive. I am not the job that I do. I am not the luxury that I have. I am not. I'm not the job that I have. I am much more than that. And I am aware of my inherent capabilities. So one day I reported at work and I got a letter, internal memo, that I have been transferred to another station. And I was like, okay, I did not request for this. Why am I being transferred? Of course, the transfer came as a result of office politics. And these are things that you're going to experience in life, as in you're going to experience it seriously. And I was like, okay, office politics, I'm being transferred out of station, and I was told to report at the new station immediately. And of course, the new station is about 10 hours drive away from my current location at the time. So myself and my director went to see the director general to say, sir, what's going on? Why has this man been transferred out? And the guy was, the DG was like, oh, he should just go. He should just go. So the center I was being transferred to was a center that normally the agency doesn't fund that center. And it's the place where whoever they don't like his or her face at the headquarters, they just throw them away to that center so that they can just go there and rot, right? And he said, yeah, he should just go. I don't want to see him around here. He should just go. And my response to him was that, oh yeah, I'll go. God is there. And so if I get there, even if you think it's a place where you send people and they don't excel, I know that what I have, who I am, right, in whatever situation, in whatever circumstance, and in whatever location I find myself, I'm going to thrive, right? I am aware of who I am. I'm aware of my physiology. I'm aware of what I carry. I'm aware of who is inside of me. I'm aware of my beliefs. I'm aware of my values. I'm aware of my capacity and my capabilities. And I went into an unknown ground with that self-awareness. And I can tell you that I thrived in that place. Primarily because over time, I have created a perception of myself that is not entangled with roles, physical things, and all that, but things that who I am really. And that is what you need to find about yourself. That is what each and every one of us need to find about ourselves, who we are. The key factors that shape our thoughts. Remember, our thoughts actually shape our actions. Our thoughts define us, our thoughts tell us who we are really. Because as a man thinks, so he is. So what are the key factors that shape our thoughts? We have the biological factors, of course. Many of these you don't really have control over. Your brain chemistry, which determine your moods, your how you think, your motivation, genetics, that is the things that you inherited from your parents, your cognitive abilities and traits that are inherited. Your age, as you grow older, right? There's a tendency that your thinking capacity and processing speed decline because that is your body and your system reacting to natural reaction to your age, right? But at the same time, even if you really exercise your cognitive abilities and you're constantly exercising yourself, you discover that even over time, right, you still maintain that level of processing speed and cognitive abilities. I still engage with younger ones that I'm like, oh wow, young man, you're not doing so badly against younger ones in terms of the way I'm able to think and process things. Also, we have psychological factors that shape our thoughts, our emotions, our beliefs, and this is very, very important. This is extremely important. Your cultural belief, your religious belief, your social belief, your political belief, they shape the way you think and you interact with people and you interact with your environment. Your past experience, the things you've experienced in the past also shape the way you think. Now, I just gave you an experience that I had, right? And the outcome of that, I was transferred, but I got to where I was posted to, and I thrived there. So I have an experience that wherever it is I go to, I have what it takes in me to thrive, even if I'm stripped there of comfort, of resources. I have what it takes to thrive. So the next time I'm faced with that kind of situation, yes, my past experience will come to play. And it will give me the level of confidence and the boldness to take on challenges and to do stuff. So I'm in the business of solving problems, right? And because over time I've faced a lot of problems personally, and I've had to navigate through problems. I've had to navigate through challenging situations, and that experience that I've had gives me the level of confidence that no matter the situation I find myself in, right, I am going to thrive. And that is how one way by which your past experience, right, shape the way you perceive yourself, your thoughts, and how you esteem yourself, right? This can be positive and this can be negative. So these are some of the things that if you're trying to be, you're working on being self-aware, right? These are things that you need to take into consideration and you have to look into thoroughly. Then your personality and your mental health. Other factors that shape our thoughts, they are social, interactions with family, friends, peers, social expectations. Societal expectations. The environment one grows up in also has impact on our thoughts and how we perceive ourselves, our cultural values, beliefs, and traditions, and of course the media and technology. Of course, social media has really been impactful right now on how people perceive themselves and the likes. So yeah, so we have all this, and of course, lastly, environmental factors that shape our thoughts. Your physical environment, where what is your environment like? I will still go back to myself because I think I can just use myself as an example. I ensure by virtue of some of the things that I do, I know the kind of environment that I need to be in, because I need to think to solve problems. All right, I need to think. I need to be my thought life has to be tip top. So I have to choose the kind of environment that where I stay, the kind of environment I work in. Also, your learning environment has got a lot to play in. A lot to do in shaping your thoughts. Do you sleep well? Um, do you take time to rest your brain, or you overstress yourself? Do you eat well? And do you exercise? I can tell you, I wake up in the morning. The days that I get to do my exercise, and I in the morning I go for walks, and I'm able to probably cover about 4 kilometers. I can assure you, mornings like that, um, the way I function in whatever roles that I find myself, the way I function is different. As in, I function exceptionally well, right, in those days, and compared with the days that I don't exercise and I just get up and I just go to work. And also to keep yourself healthy and having having keeping your cognitive capabilities and abilities tip top, right? You need to have the right nutrition. You need to eat the right. You need to eat right. You need to exercise, and you need to ensure that you keep yourself in proper shape. So these environmental factors are also very, very important. And then you need to also know when to stop or when to relax and take a break, because it's not every time that you just put yourself under stress. By the time you do that, you are inhibiting your cognitive capabilities. So we are looking at one of the things where the key thing that we are looking at is how for us to understand ourselves, to be self-aware and understanding our identity, as against whatever it is that our degree is, so that we're building our self-identity beyond our degree. That is, your degree is not your identity. So we're going to look at identity versus role, right? Role is the things that you do, the positions that you occupy, the situations that you find yourself, right? And you have a set of behaviors and expectations that's associated with this position. For example, I'm a dad, I'm a brother, I'm a CEO, I'm a consultant, I'm a friend. Um, I that means I have so many roles that I play, right? Likewise, you everybody has got different positions that they occupy in life. You're a sister, your friend, you are a worker somewhere, you have a group, you are the admin, you are the group admin, right? We all have so many different positions and roles that we occupy. But is that what defines us? Is that what defines us? No, that is not what defines us. Our identity is actually what defines us. And what is our identity? Our identity is who we are when we are stripped of what we do. That is, when you are stripped of your role. Earlier on, I gave an example. I said, I was stripped of my comfort. I was taken out of my comfort zone. I was stripped of this, I was stripped of that, right? Then I was left with who I am to go and face a particular situation. So your identity is who you are when you're stripped of every other thing. When you're laid bare, that is your identity. And your identity, right, is solidified based on your values, your beliefs, your personality, and your character. Because these are the things that make you. You are not made by the things you have. You are not made by the positions you occupy. You are not made up of the roles you play in the lives of people. What makes you up are your values, your beliefs, your personality, and your character. These are the things that make you up. So it is very important for us to be able to distinguish between what we're doing, the role that we occupy, right, and our real identity. You have one identity, but probably you play many roles, but you have just one identity. And your identity is unique to you. I talked about the physiological things that distinguishes you from anybody else and everybody else. Also talked about the fact that your character, your behavior, the way you think, and things like that is unique. It's unique to you. The roles you occupy, others can play it, but nobody else can be you. Nobody else is you. You are you. You are unique. Others can play the role that you occupy. For example, if in a family, maybe one of the parents that's not what we want, but one of the parents passes on, the other parent will have to take up the role of the departed parent. And if it is becoming cumbersome, the other parents will probably remarry and have somebody else playing that role. That already means you are out of the system, you are out of the picture, somebody else will play your role. I tell my colleagues in the office that, yeah, today I'm the MD, I'm the CEO here. But if I'm no longer here, somebody else will assume the seat and play the same role that I'm playing. And when the person comes, the person will bring his or her own flair, his or her own approach based on who the person is. So your identity is focusing on your identity. And understanding your identity, right, is much more essential to you than the roles you play, because your identity will determine how you play your role, how effectively you play your role, how rightly you play your role, or how wrongly you play your role in whatever office that you occupy, in whatever position you're in. It's your identity will also play the key role in how you respond to situations. But for somebody who is not self-aware, for somebody who doesn't really know himself or herself, right? Situations, situations and the roles they play will just flip-flop him or her, right? And then the person will look like he's having dual identity. And of course, when you say somebody is bipolar, it's not a compliment. So beyond your degree, you need to understand who you are. And that is what I've been trying to say from the previous slide. You are more than your role that you play. You are more than your degree. Your degree does not entirely define you. So you go to school to get a degree so that you get a job in the future and you build your career life and this and that, right? That is not entirely who you are. If your degree is taken away from you at any point in time, will you still be able to function? When you're stripped of your degree, are you still able to live life and thrive? That is more about who you are, your composition, what you are made of. And it's not your degree that makes you. It's your ability to use what you have. And your ability to use what you have to spur success in life is dependent on who you really are, your personality, your character, your outlook to life, your values, your drive, your motivation. We've seen a lot of people. Okay, I am a meteorologist, right? The last time I did anything directly meteorology in the sense of meteorology was my NYSC. I was the meteorologist attached to the control tower of an airport, right? And that was the last time I really went to the field to go and collect meteorological parameters and use it for any particular um, uh, operations, any particular operation. However, I have built a career. I've opened up myself to other things, right? I had the ability to learn, relearn, unlearn, relearn, right? By virtue of who I am, my composition. So your degree doesn't make you. It doesn't entirely define you. It's essential that you have a degree. It's a resource for you to use, but it doesn't entirely define you. Your degree prepares you for the roles that you play in life. Your degree does not determine your personality. So you are not constrained by your degree, right? That's what we're saying basically. You're not constrained by your degree. You can expand and explore. It depends on your personality. So to understand who you are beyond your degree, you need to focus on understanding yourself better. You need to be able to reflect on who you are. Introspection, personal introspection. Then, because self-awareness has to do with other people, the impact of your actions on other people, then you need feedback from them as well. You need feedback from people to help you understand who you are better. And then there are mindful practices that you have to engage in. So quickly, we'll run through that. The first one, self-reflection. You have to do journaling, regularly record your thoughts, your feelings, your experiences, and this helps you to identify patterns and understand how you respond to things emotionally. Right. You need to do some bit of strength, weakness, opportunities, and threat analysis about yourself so that you understand your capabilities and then you identify areas for improvement. Of course, as I mentioned earlier on, there has to be a baseline. So what you're doing with self-reflection is establishing your baseline and including your SWOT analysis, your personal SWOT analysis, to establish your baseline so that you identify how you improve from where you are at every point in time. And this is a continuous thing. It's not just something that you do once and you leave it. You have to be able to define what's truly important to you in terms of your values. What are the things that you hold as your values, right? What's important to you? How do you align and align your actions with those things, right? So that you act based on your values, right? Your past experiences, I talked about that earlier on, and you need to really introspect and cast your mind back to your past experiences and see how have these shaped my life, rightly or wrongly, positively or negatively. And understanding this will help you to know what to fix and the right actions to take. You also have to examine triggers, identify situations, identify events, identify words that evoke, strong emotional reactions from you. So, and you can see all these things that we're talking about has got nothing to do with the course that you've done in school, or the degree that you are the degree that you are undergoing, or the job that you are currently doing, because these are not the things that make you. However, when you go through this process of self-reflection, you are on the path to understanding who you are and preparing yourself to face life. Feedbacks. You have trusted individuals around you. Talk to them. Inquire about how they perceive you to get valuable insights, about who you are and how your actions impact them, how they perceive you, right? That's very important. Then you should be open to constructive criticism. You listen actively to feedback. You consider how you use them to grow yourself and to improve yourself and to make yourself better. There will be different perspectives. There are so many different perspectives to things. Check out other people's perspectives. Check out their opinions and see how they differ from yours. How do you react to their opinions when you have differing opinions? That tells you how you react to people and whether you need to, improve on that or you need to build on it. It says a lot. So you should be open to considering different perspectives, and you do that actively. Then the last one, which is mindful meditation, and I say this is very, very important because it takes you back to your thoughts. This helps you to observe your thoughts and feelings without judgment, and it enhances self-awareness a lot, because this is what you do. As I said, I'm a believer in Christ, and I believe the Bible. And in the book of Joshua, it says, "This book of the law should not depart from your mouth. On it you will meditate day and night, so that you will know what to do, and thereby make your, you know what to do, and then you have good success. This starts from meditation. What you think about goes a long way in impacting how you perceive life and the things that you do. And this is a basis for self-awareness, your thoughts. When you meditate, it helps you to reinforce your belief about who you are. It's essential that you have that reinforced belief about who you are. Like, I cannot be taken to anywhere that I will fail. No, I know I have what it takes in me to succeed. And the more I reinforce that belief, the more I'm able to face life with confidence and with boldness, that I will always triumph. So I don't see any problem that I can't solve. That's why I'm in the business of providing solutions. I take problems headlong, and I find solutions to them because I constantly reinforce my belief about who I am. And that is very, very important. And when you do this, you meditate and you reinforce your belief about who you are, then you are propelled to maintain and live out your values. You live out your values, you live out your beliefs. It will come naturally as your way of life, irrespective of your rules and circumstances and situations. So that is where I'm going to draw the curtain. This is the activity. I don't know. Maybe at a later time I can share the slides with Ife, so that people can take this. You guys can look at this activity, take it home, and just use it to do this and use it to understand yourself much better than than you than you already know yourself. Okay, so we go into the Q&A session. Um, thank you for listening.
Wow. I am blown away. Thank you so, so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Fagbeja. That was amazing. That was explosive. Please, guys, I want to see your reactions. I think I'm the only one who is. I have 3 pages written down. I was just taking notes, and this was just like a mind opener for me. Thank you so very much. Guys, can you all hear all that he has said today? I don't know if I'm the only one that had it, but I want to believe that I'm not the only person that has been taking notes. And the beautiful thing about everything is said, I mean, from the start was it is first from your mind, So we always think about self, this entire conversation around self-awareness, around, oh, how do people see me? But then it is first, how do you see yourself, from your own mind personally? That is where everything really starts. That is where it's the building blocks are formed before it moves to your consciousness and your behavior. Then you form like an habit around it, and from there you start reacting basically. So this has been like a very, very, very amazing conversation for me. Thank you so, so much, Dr. Fagbeja, for taking us through this path. So please, if you have questions, guys, please just let me know. Signify by raising your hands. let me know when we have so that we can put that in perspective. You can also enter it in the chat box if you have questions. I also have questions, and I think I will be going first. I mean, I'm the host, so Dr. Fagbeja, I mean, my questions. There, I have two questions written down, and it was when you spoke about identity versus role. So because I have had the opportunity of, like you mentioned, the role, um, I think various times because your identity as a person can be loving, caring, but your role at certain times demand you to be stern. And people feel like probably it is an effect of that role that the role um, is taking a toll on your identity. For example, you are friends with certain people, and now because you had the privilege of stepping into a bigger role, and you have to probably correct them, probably because now you are in a superior position, you have to correct them, then they start feeling that your identity has become questionable. So how do you, as somebody who probably is in that position where you are more at a privileged position and you are handling a more critical role, get to make people understand that it is not a function of your identity, but as a function of probably the responsibilities of the roles that you are performing? That is the first question. Now, the second question would be, how does considering people's perspective, because you have mentioned that we should seek people's perspective, how does considering that perspective, how does it not come across as seeking their validation? Because sometimes um, when you get the perspective, you now start, and I've seen this not in myself, but I've seen this around some people that have been around. The perspective now puts you in a place where you are not trying to perform to meet people's expectation of you. So how do you consciously um, consider perspective without necessarily seeking validation? Those are my two questions, sir. Thank you so much.
All right, fantastic questions. So to your first question, when I started, I said I play a lot, right? And that's who I am. I have values that I hold very dear, and I understand a number of things, right? Despite the fact that I play a lot, I can also be very strict because I'm in a particular um, situation. I play a particular role, right? That I have to use um, the rod and the staff. Let me say, it doesn't change who you are. You have your set of values. You understand quite well that yes, you're my friend, but by virtue of the role that I occupy, I am your boss, right? So I will tell you when we're in the office, hey, dude, we're in the office. When we're out of the office, we hang out, you call me by my name and we are good. Well, if you are in an office where you're on first name basis, it's okay. Right. But you have to let people know your beliefs, your values, you being aware of yourself has to do with interaction with others. So in your interactions with others, they already know your values. They already know where you stand. They already know who you are. They know that I'm playful. They know that I am strict. They know that when I need to be playful, I'm playful because I go to my co-worker's office, I step in there and I sit and I gist with them. I joke with them to make the office light, to make the office, um, a friendly environment. I do that. I don't sit on my high horse, right? But when it has to do with work, I say, hey guys, work is work. Get your work done. You have your timeline. Your timeline is your timeline. And if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, I call you. I'm like, hey, guy or madam, you've got this timeline. You're not meeting your deadlines. Please, you have to do stuff about that. I speak with you about it. But if I think you're taking me for granted, I issue you a query with no, I don't feel flinched about doing that. I give you a query and you answer the query and it goes to HR. And if you have two queries, you're out of the system. That's how it works, right? So people need to know you for who you are. If they know you for who you are, right, then they will be able to adapt with you. No matter how high you rise, that role does not change your personality. If I become the president of Nigeria today, there are people who will call me names. My guys that I've known for over 40 years, they will not see me and start saying, Mr. President, Mr. President. Myself, I even feel awkward. I'll be like, guys, call me my name now. Abba, waiting, waiting, waiting up. Stuff like that. You are who you are, not the role. And when people know who you are, no matter the role you occupy, they will understand your actions. They will understand your actions. Right. So know yourself and be yourself. People will know who you are. And it will not except anybody who wants to be cheeky or who just probably wants to run you down and stuff like that, right? That will come to you and start using derogatory words or anything against you or speaking against you by virtue of your actions. But your actions, and when your action is necessary, then you do what is necessary. Okay. So the second question again, the second question.
Okay, so yeah, the second question. Thank you so much for that, sir. Second question is, how do you consider people's perspective, and not necessarily come across as you seeking their validation, so that we don't
Okay.
come across to that point where you now put yourself under pressure to suit their own impression of you, basically. That is the question.
Okay. So when I raised that up in the slide, I said you have trusted people. You have people that you trust, right? You have people who will tell you the truth at any point in time, right? And you know them. You know the friends that you have that will not mince words with you, that will tell you they that will give you as it is, right? It is not seeking validation. It is you asking for their honest opinion about you so that you need to improve. However, sometimes when they tell you what their opinion, whatever their opinion is about you, right? It can be they are being sincere, they are being truthful. Their views, their opinion about you might actually be a mis. Always, it's not every time you speak with people, you request for their feedback, right? That you have to entirely realign yourself. And you are not realigning yourself per se, you are only improving yourself based on that perception. So it's you're not just think I knew. And look at it from this perspective. Did you look at it from that perspective? And the person brings about different perspectives that you could have considered what you did. And that's why when we do stuff, when we get one or two things wrong, we're able to say we're sorry. That you say you are sorry about something that you've done wrong and somebody points it out to you does not mean that you sought validation from the person. You've only seen another perspective, right, which you did not consider, right? And you felt that, oh, I could have done better in this regard, right? And you take that on board and you're like, okay, going forward, I need to check this area of my life. So it's not seeking validation. No. And you are not living your life based on their opinions. That's why you only speak with the people that you trust to ask them, what do you think about me? Other people will say stuff about you. Jesus asking um, um, the disciples, who do, people say I'm this and this and this. Who do you say I am? Right. He is not seeking validation. He wasn't seeking validation. He was seeking their knowledge, or he was seeking who they understand him to be. He needed to know, right? So that it also tells him that told him a lot of things about his disciples, the level to which they're grasping, his teachings and things like that, right? How do they perceive him? It's important. And self-awareness has to do with not just how you see yourself, but also you knowing how others see you. It goes a long way in building your self-awareness. So don't always see it as seeking validation, right? Um, yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That really answers my question. And then even brands get to check to do surveys to check how people perceive their services and their products. And it's not because they are seeking the validation, they're just trying to get our honest perspective. Basically. So guys, the floor is open. If you have questions, kindly kindly ask. I think a lot of people are dropped off earlier. So Benjamin, you have questions. Emmanuel, you have questions. Dorcas and Lucky, if you have questions, kindly so that we can round this up. And if there are no questions, I mean, that means that all that was said was well received. Um, I hope we can get the slides, so I could probably share with the with the gentlemen and the ladies.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, you can. I'll share the slides with you.
Thank
I'll
you.
share the slides with you. Definitely.
Thank you so much, sir. So one more time, just to confirm, If there are questions, if there are no questions, I mean, we can release Dr. Mofoluso. I can see that he's still in his office on a Saturday. That is how you know. You are muted.
Sorry, I'm actually at home.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay.
Yeah, I'm at home. But I'm at home. I'm at work. I'm working, and I have I I
Okay.
have things to do. So yes, I'm on it.
All right. So I'll pay for you. I think I said reaction. Do you have questions? I'll pay for. I want to release Dr. Mofoluso, please. Please, if you have questions in three. Okay, Manuel, you said you're going to ask your questions later. You're on the move. Okay, you could, if you have questions later that you want to ask from this session, you could always send it to me in my DMs. I would put it together and send it to him and then probably share with you back. That could work. But thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much, Dr. Mofolusho, for taking our time to speak on these issues. These are very, very, very critical issues. A lot of young persons, a lot of we young persons these days, because we get to certain places of privileges and we tend to lose that sense of identity. We tend to place our identity on the things that we have or the positions that we have attained, and sometimes it just becomes difficult to put a line between it because now that you are now probably a multimillionaire, you don't know how to be a son to your parents anymore because you believe you are richer than them, or now because you have so many people that you are boss over in your work, you don't know how to be a loving husband to your wife anymore. And because of all the situations keep arising every now and then, I think this is like a very crucial and important topic for every young person to understand that the self-awareness, it's a continuous evaluation thing, and this really 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 blessed me. Thank you so much for doing this. Till next week. I can't wait for what you have for us next week. Thank you so much. God bless you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. It's a pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you for everyone that's listening to what I have to say. I really appreciate the opportunity and the time to sit with you guys to I would say it's rubbing minds together. It's a huge pleasure for me. So thank you for having me.
All right, so see you next week, sir.
All right. My best regards to everybody.
All right, sir. So to every
Okay.
other
Bye.
person, bye, sir. Bye, sir. So to every other person on the call, to every other person on the call, don't drop off yet. Please, 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 guys. Um, this is that meeting. This is that you want to invite your friends to be a part of. You see, we don't know the value of the things that we are listening to. Now, some of us are in that situations, are in those positions already, and we need this constant reminders of to always, evaluate ourselves and, just have a real sense of situations, of persons, and really just put things in perspective. So please get your guys on board, get your people on board. Let us build. If Nigeria is going to get better, I think this knowledge needs to be widespread. We need to start having these conversations as youth. The future belongs to us, but we will not do better if we don't all put ourselves in places where we are able to learn, ask questions, so that we can do better than people who have gone ahead of us. I always tell anybody who cares to hear that the people who are ahead of us did not also choose to do worse, but because some of them don't know better, and because some of them didn't have the structure, they have ended up, where they presently are. And it's left to us to build together, to hold ourselves accountable, and to ensure that we are able to create the future that we want for ourselves, basically. And that is the entire goal of the preparatory program. Thank you also for being here. Thank you for taking time out. Thank you so much for making time out of your Saturday schedule to learn. I hope this has been resourceful. And next week is going to be explosive. So if you have questions, if you have anything that you would want to, my DMs are always open throughout the week, and the communities are there for conversations, for interactions, and let's just keep in tabs, right? Um, Please also follow us on our social media platform. Before I forget, please, you are not following the Illumination Tribe on social media. Please follow us on social media. It is THE Illumination Tribe. That is the username. Please follow us on social media. We have content, help us, we post, we share, and just get people aware of what we are doing and how we're transforming lives. Thank you all so much for being here. It's been a delight hosting you, and I'm always glad seeing your faces every Saturday. I remain your guy, and